So Hamish, I saw one of your posts on LinkedIn about defining business apps, your framework, and you were discussing your so you were showing your process with expert interview, customer journeys, and I've seen quite a lot of interaction on it. And because, for example, one thing that I remember learning on your course was like you doing the expert interview and then doing the journeys, the customer journeys as a second step almost.
Yeah.
Where I found sometimes, and I have done it your way too, but I found sometimes combining the two works better for me because I can then tie the question that I have from my expert interview, tie them to a process. I'm sometimes myself lost if I don't have a little bit of a high level process to follow, and put those pain points kind of in the right stages almost.
Yeah.
So I'm not sure. Have you tried, or am I doing it wrong?
And maybe just for the audience, Danny, just to go back to what is an expert interview. If you haven't seen my content, so expert interviews is like an exercise where you're in a workshop with a group of people together, and the facilitator will interview one person at a time, one-on-one for 5 minutes, and then everyone else in the workshop will be writing notes, and they write them in a certain format called How Might We? And basically, once that interview's over, someone else gets interviewed one-on-one while everyone else writes notes. It's a really good way, especially as a facilitator, you can concentrate on doing the interview rather than writing notes, because everyone else is writing your notes for you. And then the user journey map is really around plotting out for a person what's their journey through a certain process and what are they doing, what are they interacting with, what are they thinking and feeling, what are their pain points. So Danny, you've obviously merged those two exercises together. Yeah. And so are you taking the notes, those how might we statements from the expert interviews, are you plotting them on the user journey map?
Yeah, so I follow the user journey map and kind of combine the same. So the question I'm asking about the problems they're having, the challenges they're facing, I'm having them following a draft journey map that I have. So the journey map as well, I at least have a draft ready.
Yeah.
From a previous conversation that I had with my stakeholder previously, or I have a high level map already, and then I fine tune the stages during the workshop, but also all the pain points are articulated around, they are mapped on, they are put on that map, if that makes sense.
Got you. Yeah. It does make sense, because I think when we do the expert interviews is really around just getting a high level understanding of what are the problems, right? Well, we don't put them into a process or anything like that. They're very scattered. I love the show.
Maybe what I'm doing, and I don't realize it, is maybe I'm actually doing the expert interview with the stakeholders previously, because the expert interview what you call an expert interview, I'm kind of doing an interview with, usually the people that engage my services, they kind of have a high level understanding of the pain points that their teams are having. So they kind of laid out to me some of those bigger problems. They kind of laid out to me the draft diagram, and then we go into the journey, customer journey interview, where we go a little bit more into the details of those problems, but following the customer journey. So I think I probably use some of the same concept. I don't realize it's really an expert interview that I'm doing. I'm just doing a high level interview with stakeholders.
Yeah. But I think that's the beauty of all this, right? I mean, the framework I've put together, it's not rigid, right? You can take components from that and use them how like you're doing, like use them however makes most sense for you and for your clients. And so it's designed in a way where you can pick and choose little components if you want to. And all I've done with this framework is taken bits and pieces from other people's work. I mean, none of the stuff is stuff that I've come up with, right? It's stuff that I've kind of mashed together from
Yeah.
all my learnings across the years. So I kind of expect people to kind of pull it apart a little bit and do their own things with it as well. Yeah.
That's it. That's great, right? Because I think that's really the key message. I think, yeah, you should keep on even reiterating is it's a framework and you can kind of pick and choose and adapt. Because you have done the same. You kind of went through other frameworks, if I understand correctly, and you pick and choose the items that works best for you and you put them together. And that's you feel most comfortable using that framework, but that doesn't mean that another person that tried out cannot kind of tweak things and incorporate their own way of doing into your framework, right?
Yeah, exactly. And I think, and one of the biggest questions I get is, oh, hey, we do such and such.
Yeah.
Maybe we're responding to an RFP. How does this fit into that process? And so there are, things that people do differently in their organizations that I don't do, and they need to tweak that framework to kind of fit in with how they do things and what outputs they have. Maybe we're working with people who do kind of F&O and Business Central, which is quite different from a Dynamics CE or Power Platform project, right? Because they've got there are set processes that you have to go through for your accounting, and you've got to collect set bits of information around what's your chart of accounts, all this sort of thing, which is very just tick boxy, which is not really what my framework's about. My framework's about being more creative and coming up with better processes and ways of doing things. And that does come in a bit when you've got Business Central or F&O, but there's also another side of that where you just literally have to collect all these little bits of information around how the accounting frameworks and stuff are set up. And you would do that additional to my framework as well. Right. So learning quite some interesting things around that as I work with people from outside of the CRM Power Platform space.